Hello, it's me, Camila Rose, and welcome back. We are getting into our 2024 readings, and it's time to do Gemini. I'm kind of surprised. I feel like I got to Gemini pretty quickly, even though it's only like the third sign, but you should already have access to Aries and Taurus. So we are going to get into the card of the year for you. We're going to use the Major Arcana and pick one card that kind of carries your theme energy. And then from there, we'll get into, sorry about that. We'll get into your readings for each quarter and we'll see. Okay. I think you have a lot going on, Gemini. Nope. Okay. Let's just get into your general energy then. All right, let's see what's coming up for Gemini in 2024. Let's see, we'll do each quarter. We'll get a general card for the first 3 months, the second 3 months, the third 3 months, and the last final quarter. We'll get some clarifiers for each of those energies, and then we'll get an outcome card. I anticipate this will go a lot easier than it was just getting your general card. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's some indecisiveness going on, which might have been what our initial issue was, which is fine. This is your second one. This is, oh, okay. This is your first one. Well, all right, yeah, there's definitely some indecisiveness going on. You might be starting off the year feeling like your world has been turned on its head and that it is time for you to make a decision. You're having a really difficult time making that decision, and you need to rest a bit. You need to rest. I think when you rest, you'll get some clarity about what route to take. You know, when Two of Swords shows up, that's your main card, is the Two of Swords. When the Two of Swords shows up, that's always saying, listen to your heart. You know, you may be wanting to take the really logical route, but that's why the eyes are covered, to listen to the heart, to follow one's intuition. You may be wanting to just you don't know. You have a lot of choices to choose from. You also may be feeling a bit stuck. When we get the world in the beginning, when you get the world in the beginning of a deck, it's usually indicating that, you know, you're either you really achieve something really great or you might be feeling stuck. There's something that you started or that you would like to start that just hasn't taken off in the way you want to. With the world being upside down or in reverse, it's really indicating that there's something in your world that's a little off, a little wonky. And you really need to take a look in what your heart wants. And what your heart desires and the options that are available to you, because the Seven of Cups is looking at, okay, you have all these different kind of fantasies, all these different things that you could do, but you have to make a choice and then figure out which one's most realistic that you'll actually follow through with. And you never know really where it's going to go. That's why you have to have a little bit of courage and take that chance. We have this Four of Swords here, and a Four of Swords is giving us this energy of needing to rest, to recuperate, to relax. And perhaps in this relaxation, you'll find this clarity about where to go. All right, let's look at your second energy. Oh, okay. Seven of Swords. There may be some dishonesty going on in that second quarter. You may also need to be really clever about how you go about things. I really wish I had gotten your overall energy for the year, your card for the year, because your energy is a little wonky, Gemini. I would say though, with Jupiter as you're moving into your sign, you know, there's expansion that's going to go on. There's things that are changing in your life. You may get an offer. It looks like we're continuing the story from your first quarter. And there's an offer that's being made, and You may be reluctant to take it because you're thinking about the past and what perhaps didn't work out in the past. I think you do have some valid concerns, especially if you were in a situation where there was some dishonesty, where you did have to kind of watch your back, where you were always a little anxious or on your guard. And let's see if we get your last one as well. Perfect. Okay, so you may need to take a trip. There's some traveling that needs to be done, some expansion, as I expected. Moving outside of your comfort zone for sure. So we have a 4 and then we have a 3. I don't know if you accept this cup at all. It looks like you turn your back against this offer and you want to head into a different direction, especially something that maybe seems a little bit more expansive. And you may be dealing with some issues related to feeling like you've been left out in the cold. And this could make sense of why, like, if there's something in this dynamic of this offer that comes in that may be related to when your world was turned on its head and you're not sure about what direction to go in now. So, you're very guarded, you're watching your back, you're aware of like the treachery or the poor behavior of the people around you that made you like be on guard, that made you be so anxious that, when this new offer comes in or when this new step that you're taking forward happens, because, you've rested and you've thought about it, I can see why you would turn your back on that and want to go in a different direction and head in towards something that maybe is a bit more exciting or just completely new, just a completely new direction. Especially if you felt like you were left out in the cold due to what happened in this situation in the past. All right, let's get your third quarter for Gemini 2024. All righty. So for your third quarter, okay, we have, oh, wow. Yeah, this is an interesting year for you. Gemini, this is a very interesting year for you. My goodness. Okay. So you may start to, you may just be like, forget it. I need to go back to the books, which is A-okay. I think that might be a good, I think that might be a good choice for you. You may feel like I need to go back to the books. I need to go back and change my perspective. I need to get some more education. I need to get some more insights. I need to get some more knowledge. I need to have more conversations before I try to move forward really strongly in any direction. You have a lot of swords. This is a very airy year for you. This is a very thought heavy, mind heavy. I would anticipate you should probably do a lot of breath work and a lot of meditation, whatever meditation forms work for you. There's walking meditation. There is eating meditations where you just are really mindful, or mindful eating where you're just really mindful about staying present when you're eating. And consuming your meals. And I'm going to make this recommendation. I think you should probably limit your screen time, at least as far as social media and things like that. I think you really need to be figuring out what your own mind is and what your own direction is. So this Page of Swords is giving us an indication that you are needing to maybe study something new. You may be becoming not a new teacher really, but it's a student of something. The Emperor in reverse, there may have been a really strict, this is father energy, so it might be your father. There might be a falling out with your father. If you are a father, you might be feeling like things are a little topsy-turvy, like you just don't feel like you're in your power, that you have the authority that you'd like to have. But this may be just an overbearing, firing energy, but it's also an energy, the Emperor is also an energy of structure, of processes, of programs, of systems. It's coming together and it's taking the egg that's planted, the fertility and the ability to create that the Empress has, and that egg has fully grown. It's fully matured. So it's the maturing and the breaking out of the shell. It's the manifestation. So Empress can manifest. She carries that energy of being able to manifest. The Emperor is the actual manifestation. It's the actual like reality of what you've planted kind of coming to fruition. But in this case, it makes sense the Emperor would be in reverse. You haven't planted any seeds. You haven't really put any roots down. You've been planning, or well, I don't even know if you've been planning. You've been desiring. You've had decisions that have come up. You've had choices that have like been in your sight. You have new adventures that you'd like to go on. You've turned your back on some of these older things and been like, actually, no, I'm going to go in a whole new direction where maybe I feel a bit more valued and where I don't feel like I have to be on guard. I'm just going to try something different altogether, but there's a lack of a process. There's a lack of a system. There may be a lack of a support system. You may be having issues with people who are in authority, who are saying that maybe you need to like try to make something over here work that you already have together. Why they might be a little upset. Why didn't you take the offer? So we're running into this like very fiery energy. Like your energy up here is like, I need to step outside of the way that I've been approaching this mentally. And the energy down here is very fiery. It's 5 of Wands, friendly competition, tension, building, pushing outside of this idea of stability and just kind of like closing yourself off in the house and enjoying yourself and doing that and saying like, push you outside, push you beyond. Like we skip from the 4. We don't have the 4 at all, which would have been the stabilizing force of the 3 of Wands. And instead we move strictly to the 5. Everything is pushing you to expand. You have a 7 of Swords with a 3 of Wands. It's pushing you to expand. It's pushing you to go beyond. And then we get this 10 of Wands. You have a lot of responsibilities. This tension, this kind of deciding to go in this new direction and really to pick up a new course of study, a new track, just take a different route. It does bring you into a space where I think you feel a bit more excited about it, at least, instead of this kind of weariness and distrust, mistrust, lack of trust that's going on during the second quarter. And now you're feeling at least a little bit like, okay, I'm at least excited about this. I'm at least interested in making these moves, although there is that tension and although there is that fieriness behind it. You do end up, I think, taking on a couple more responsibilities than what you should. I'd like to let's get a clarifier. What is this issue? Like, what is this issue? It's something related to money. Okay. It's something related to your next career choice, your next field of industry. And you may be moving into something where you need to set more boundaries, better boundaries. Something where you may be moving into being a teacher or an instructor, whatever it is. It's a much more independent role than I believe that you had previously. And instead of it seems like if you've had some issues dealing with some shady individuals in the past, it seems like the route that you want to take to solve that so you don't have to run into that again, some of the swords that you've taken, so many swords here, is that you just decide, I'll just be the one in charge. And then if I'm in charge, then I don't have to worry about, possibly having people stab me in the back and things like that, or like, maybe not be upfront with me. The clever way for me to get around all of this is just to be the person who makes the decision. So you might be interested in going into business for yourself. You might be weighing those options. This is a two of Pentacles. It's a much happier card than the 2 of Swords, right? So the 2 of Swords, there's really a lot of uncertainty there. There's really a lot of questioning there. It's all in the head, and it's really like it's all in the head, but her eyes are covered. She really can't see clearly about like which is the best option, which is why it's like, all right, feet planted on the ground, go inside and see what your intuition is saying, what you're feeling guided to do. But it's also a really other simple solution to this, which is just put the swords down. Like you're covering up your heart where you can't access like how you really feel about it. You're probably being hyper intellectual and logical around it. Just put the swords down. Put the swords down. Don't be so defensive. Open up your heart. Take off your blindfold and look around and see what's the choice that actually makes the most sense when you look at it. And that gives a little bit more lightness to it. Swords are heavy. It's a lightness to it when you let go of that, like needing to hold on to this choice in your head, and you pull it down into reality, into the world around you. And when you do that, you get a little bit of this lightness, a little bit of this more carefree juggling energy of the Two of Pentacles. And so as we're looking at this and this kind of journey to try to kind of make this decision about where you're going forward in job, in work, in your home, for your passion and how you operate related to your passions, you need that lightness. You gotta, for lack of a better term, you gotta lighten up, Gemini. You gotta lighten up, Gemini. And I know that Jupiter, I'm sure there's other planets kind of going in and doing things and all that fun stuff, but that Jupiter return is really gonna push you towards like, hey, are you going to follow your passions? Are you going to expand? Because Jupiter doesn't discriminate. Jupiter comes in and whatever is there, it expands. So if you're over there and you're just kind of all over the place in a mess, Gemini, it's gonna just expand the mess. But if you're like, I'm open to following a path, I'm open to creating some structure, I'm open to having these conversations, then that's the energy that's going to show up for you and give you that space and give you that energy. And it's time for you to stop being on this lower end of the spectrum as far as your air sign energy, Gemini. It's time for you to step up and be the Queen of Swords. It's time for you to be someone who can have tough conversations, who doesn't just run away from them and let your world kind of fall apart, but just addresses them head on. When you have an issue, you address it. And that's what's really coming up for you in this third quarter, is this colder, fiery energy that's kind of calmed down. Perhaps even that's the Emperor in reverse, is that maybe it's calmed down. Maybe it's decided to, kind of chill out a little bit. But you're still kind of going in this back and forth with it. You're like, and maybe you feel like, okay, that's the way that I start to change, is that I don't just take it anymore. I don't just accept it, or I don't bite my tongue anymore. I stand up and I set some clear boundaries. I express that, yeah, I'm figuring things out, but I'm going to figure it out the way that I want to. And you do pick up some responsibilities. All right, this last quarter is all about partnership. One more for the fourth quarter. Okay. Oof. Okay. So your last quarter is about partnership. We start off with the Two of Pentacles, or Two of Cups. You already have the Two of Pentacles. Twos, you have almost all the twos. This last quarter may be pretty big deal for you. There's a lot that happens in this last quarter. So we start off with the Two of Cups. So you have, like I said, almost all the twos so far. Two of Cups is about partnership. It's about coming together. We haven't seen a lot about relationships here, unless you're looking at the Seven of Cups as maybe multiple partners and you're trying to choose like which partner you want. But it seems like if your world's been turned upside down, these are probably just like all the different factors of your life is what I would say are in those cups. And then you being given an offer related to something where someone was untruthful or didn't treat you the way you wanted to, left you out in the cold, and you turn that offer down and you take a new direction. So we finally get to a state about partnerships. We can read this in a couple of different ways. This could be your literal relationship and which is like a total dip from like all the other spaces that we've had, unless your relationship is the person that you've been having all these issues with, has been your partner. Then, here we are where it's like, okay, I'm finally going to take this cup, or I'm going to finally take a new cup, and it's going to lead to some happiness. There's your 4. Remember we talked about the 4 of wands before and how we skipped over from the 3 to the 5 and like that push for expansion. It seems that once you open up your heart, like I mentioned, and accept this cup, like I mentioned, accept this partnership, accept this help, it does bring you a bit more happiness. It stabilizes your energy. It brings you a bit more joy and celebration. It gives you just like this fiery energy that's floating and lurking underneath all of this like confusion, and then your overrunning thoughts and your anxiety calms down because it gets somewhere to be planted into the earth. You do have the Tower card that shows up though. There's a revelation that's coming in. It could be unexpected. And it could be about something not working out perhaps the way that you would have wanted to, justice not being served. You might have put in more work. And let's see, I want to pull a clarifier about that. The Knight of Cups, a revelation about a Knight of Cups energy. It may move faster than what you thought. Things might move faster than what you thought they would be. Things might happen faster than you thought that they would. It also might be that like this connection that you thought would be a little bit more mature or a little bit more stable is not actually as mature as you thought it would be. But it's a revelation in relation to this Knight of Cups energy, to this very quick, passionate, kind of foolhardy, just rushing in with your thoughts and not thinking it out. Remember, I was talking about all this thinking that you needed to do. You needed to lighten up, though. You're carrying on too many responsibilities. And then you're like, well, let me accept this cup. Let me get a little bit of happiness. And it's like, boom, you're not thinking things through. So it's not as well thought out. It's not as mature as you would like for it to be. And in this case, maybe some of the hard work that you're getting doesn't pay off the way that you would like it to. That's Justice card in reverse. Is justice would be that whatever you put in, you're going to get out. Well, when it's in reverse, then you could put in a lot more and not get that, or you could put in not a lot and get a whole bunch from it. So we can see if we can get a clarifier for justice. The Lovers. Oh, okay. I think it might be that maybe you feel like, I don't know if you actually aren't, but maybe you feel like you're not putting in as much work into this relationship, into this partnership as you could have. And that, it's may not be as well thought out and mature as you would like, but it does bring you towards this partnership, and it brings you into this space where you feel more supported, more independent, more able to move forward. I love that actually as your clarifier for the Justice card. Oh, I do need to cover this card up. We got to get one of our little special friends. Well, I'll just put this one over it so that we don't get demonetized for our Lovers card. But yeah, it's giving that what's coming is more independent. It's a better choice. It's a better route, and it's a better partnership for you. It's a better connection for you. And maybe all along what you needed was to allow some support in. We did have this 5 of Pentacles over here when you wanted to take a different route. And yes, that's being left out in the cold, but it's also needing to ask for help and not asking for it, feeling like you have to do everything on your own. And you are leaning into that energy with that Queen of Swords. It's very independent, very like doing your own thing. And it's like, maybe you just need to let somebody help you, and support you. Ooh, you still have big cards coming up. Ooh, you got big cards coming up. This is a big year for you, Gemini. Okay, your outcome is the Knight of Wands in reverse. The High Priestess. Oh my goodness, I didn't even realize that was a High Priestess. The High Priestess, the Moon card, and the Death card. My goodness. Okay. All right. Well, the outcome of this is that you need to slow down, which we already knew. All of your energy was giving you need to slow down anyway. You need to just take your time, because especially since it seems like you might be losing some of your passion. You might be losing some of your spark. So you definitely need to slow down. You need to go within, and you need to get balanced. At the end of this year, you're going to find yourself feeling, because of that lack of justice. So maybe you feel guilty because you didn't put in a lot of effort or something. I don't know. Maybe you don't feel worthy of this connection, of this support, of this new direction that you're going in, of not having to carry the whole load by yourself and being able to share it with somebody else, whether that is in love or whether that is just like a financial partner. Maybe you just don't feel like you deserve to not have to carry all of the wands on your own. But we get the you need to go within. You need to do some inner work. You got to balance that stuff out, because the lesson I guess that we're getting from this is that what's happening this year is that you're functioning from your unconscious. This is your shadow side rearing its very confused head all year. And I mentioned, I love that we get the moon card here when we talked about the two of swords at the very top and the seven of cups here, because that can be illusion, that can be fantasy, and world being upside down. You know, when we talked about that, that is like a very nice callback to your unconscious and how your unconscious is running the show here. And I mentioned this whole thing about like, just put the swords down and look around at reality. That's the whole thing that's missing, is that you've got to look around at reality and see what's actually happening for you. See what you actually want. See what you actually need. Be honest with yourself. That's Seven of Swords. Yes. Other people might not be honest with you. Other people might make you feel on your guard. Other people might put you in a place where you don't trust the new things that are coming in, and you want to just be like, forget it, I'm doing something else altogether. But that's based off of feeling left out in the cold, feeling unsupported. But you just got to be honest with yourself about what's happening. Speak up for yourself. Set better boundaries. Have these conversations. Don't let emperor energy or really strong masculine energy come in and just like rock your boat and tell you about what you need to be doing and the load that you need to be carrying. Like, let your people come in and support you and like bring you to a space where you can be more balanced, where you can understand the things that have been hidden from you, and that you're not driven by these impulses. You're an active member of your life. You know, because there's a change that has to happen. You have to change. Let's get a clarifier on the moon. What are the secrets? What's the hidden? What's the unknown? The Chariot. All right. You may want to move. The Chariot might be you want to move. The thing that's unknown, though, the thing that you might be really having an issue with, or you need to get real clear on because you're not clear on it, you're not being honest about this situation, might be some issues to do with your mother, though, too. It might be the mother, because the moon card is literally Cancer card. It's the mother card. It's the mother moon looking down, and then us and our instincts and all this other stuff and creation and stuff like that, the unknown, the unconscious. And then the Chariot card is Cancer card as well. It might be some issues you have with your mom. It might be a mother wound that you are projecting out into the world as issues with the father, issues with conflict, issues with fire, but it's really like an unaddressed issue with your mother. And the change that has to be made, oh my goodness, that was fast. I don't want that one. I want, oh my goodness, yeah, okay. Never mind. Oh, you got to start a new cycle. You got to start a new cycle. And the card that wanted to come out that I didn't want to take was the Queen of Pentacles. You got to start a new cycle. You need some better grounding. You need better grounding. You need to be a little bit more focused on reality and what's going on around you. You need to get out of your head. You got to address this mother wound. And wow. And just like that. Your card of the year is the Sun. I love this for you. Your card of the year is the Sun. You need to let people see you. You got to get out of this state of fear and covering up and coming from the unconscious, and you got to get to your conscious state. You have to be aware, and the Delulu is not the Solulu here. It is the very wrong direction to go in. Put down the swords, look around at what went wrong, look at your options that are available to you, take some time and rest before you make a decision. Be very honest with yourself. If you don't want this cup, don't take this cup, but don't not take the cup because you're afraid of the past. Move forward, be creative and move forward. Yes, maybe you want to do everything on your own and you feel like you've been left out in the cold, but that's okay. You are able to make a better choice and decision from this. Take a new route. Think about things differently. You don't have to push back against those forces that are working against you. You can find a way to find peace while still being able to move forward. You cannot take on everything on your own. You're taking on a really heavy load. Let your community support you. Yes, you're going to have a revelation around like this partnership, or probably how this partnership could have been supporting you from the beginning had you been able to actually like calm yourself down and make a choice, lighten up and make a choice. And how justice is coming through the form of, yes, understanding that you have to be your own person. This underlying mother father energy that's creeping its way in and showing where all this conflict is coming from is the road to, and maybe it wasn't fair. Maybe the circumstances you were placed in from your parents wasn't fair. But you're grown now. You're an adult now. Hopefully you're 18 plus watching this. And you have to make your own decisions. You have to make your own path. You have to let this go and you have to start a new cycle and allow that new cycle to happen that's grounded in you being your own person. Slow the hell down and go through this journey and let go of these shadows. Let go of this and integrate. You're not letting go. You're not releasing. You're not banishing or anything like that. You're integrating your shadow. Integrate your shadow that is angry about the situation that you've been put in where you didn't feel supported by this, by this fiery father energy that was not present in the way you wanted them to be. And by this underlying feminine motherly energy that was not able to, that was just not there how you wanted either. Maybe it wasn't fair. Maybe that's why the justice card is in reverse. Maybe it wasn't fair and you had to become your own person. You had to do your own thing. You had to support yourself. And that's why it was hard for you to establish these connections and to learn to trust other people and to learn to trust yourself, because that's why you're all confused and you feel like you need help and you feel like you have to go to follow these people and you're like, oh, my support system is trying to help me and all this other stuff. It's not fair that you feel like you can't trust yourself and you have to grow into building your own self-trust. But it is the reality of what has happened and where you are. And once you face that, you will get out of this cycle and the world will turn back around and you will honestly, I think you'll just see that you already have everything that you really like, but you'll be able to appreciate it and be calm and enjoy it instead of being stressed out all the time because there's these underlying voices pushing you in these different directions and pushing you in these different directions and making you question all the things that are coming up for you that you really want to do. And like, do I do that? Do I not do that? Is the path I take? Is it not the path I take? Do I just go ahead and study something else? Do I need to assert myself? Do I not assert myself because I don't want to rock the boat with my dad? But I'm angry inside and I feel like I'm doing too much. And then like, I have these people who want to come in, they want to support me. And like, I'm really surprised that like, I have such supportive people, even though it's like, I really didn't do a lot that I feel like to contribute this and to deserve this support. And that is exhausting. That is exhausting. You cannot function in this cycle. You cannot function in this energy. This is not sustainable. You need to be the sun. It's time for you to be the sun. It's time for you to be in charge. So this is your journey that is laying out for you for 2024, Gemini. It's a lot. It's a lot. But it is indicating that things are changing, which I love for you. It is indicating that your life is going to go into a different direction if you are brave enough to make this choice. It doesn't seem like you have really much of a choice. I would say if it was me looking at this type of reading, my recommendation would be to spend time just getting to know yourself. Spend this year getting to know yourself, being open with yourself. We got 2 cards here. I've been pulling these bird oracles for my different cards, for my different folks. So we got the hummingbird and the hawk. I would just spend time getting to know myself, learning to be honest and willing to be brave and just getting to know myself, figuring out really who's in my corner, who's not, and doing a lot of shadow work. And that would be the only thing that I really focus on for this year in 2024. All right, let's read yours out. The hummingbird. I am hummingbird. I am creator shaman. I am the burst of light in the darkness, whirling and weaving through the pattern of time. I create the nectars of life. I am the fragility of time and the strength of passion. I am the beauty of nature in motion. I advise you to keep your garden in order. I am the fleeting brilliance of the moment. I am the here and the now. When your world has ceased to make sense, I will be the one fluttering at your window. Hover precisely where you are and take a good look around. Slow the hell down. Yes. And take a good look around. Take it all in before your next great adventure. I am luminosity. I am the magic that happens with the first breath. I told you, breath work. I am the life that stirs at dawn. I am the opening of the flower in the spring. There is a miracle in every particle of life. You are spontaneous action. You are divinity made manifest. You are the joy of the moment. You are hummingbird. You got to lighten up. Gemini, you're not meant to be all bogged down with all this foolishness. You're meant to explore and be free and to let your mind wander and just to like do all these different things and make all these connections and just be brilliant. And you're bogged down in this foolishness. You got to let it go. You got to get out of it and let it go. All right. Your second card is the hawk. I'm the hawk, the majesty and visionary. I am the eyes of the gods. I am the whole picture. I have keen sight, seeing everything from every angle. I can see how today shapes tomorrow and how my future steers today. I am advantage and strategy and will always come prepared. This is definitely giving 7 of swords energy. If I am circling overhead, it's because you are not aligned with your future. I'm trying to tell you, you got to get out of this so that you can get where you want to be, so you can start this new cycle and get out of this space. Your path is off balance, your motivations uncentered, and your higher mind misaligned. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm like, you're too brilliant for this. You're too smart for this. Like, this is too heavy for you. It's just weighing you down instead of letting you be free and fly and do the Gemini thing. To be a visionary takes more than just seeing the path ahead. You must construct it, shape it, and ensure it spans for enough to complete your task. Does your current way of doing things support what you seek to accomplish? If not, change course and create a new path. Change course, create a new path. I encourage you to take a look at what drives you. What is your unconscious? What are your unconscious desires? What is it that you want? Sit down and give yourself space and energy and room and let people support you and take care of you and talk to people and have conversations and figure out what you want, Gemini. You are perceptivity. Gemini, this is you. You are the eyes of the universe. You are foresight. You are hawk. That's it. That's it. I have nothing else to say. We're gonna get into your next part of your reading. We're gonna get into love. We're gonna get into the couples and the singles. That's where we are. So, all right, Gemini, hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button because you're gonna need it. I might need to add Gemini to my list of folks I do monthly readings on. So Gemini, if you want to get in there and you want to get added to the list because you got a lot going on and you want those monthly insights that I give for my Pisces and all my other signs, hit the subscribe, hit the like button. Let me know. Hit the like button. That's how I'll know that you want to watch. I'm going to actually cut this video here and we'll go into your next part because that one was so long and intense. And your next video, which I'm doing them in 15-minute increments, will be up in just a second. And we'll talk about all the things love and we'll talk about all the things money. All right. I'll see y'all later. Bye.